My name is Tarmack, and this is your Game Industry News Wrap-Up for the week of February 4th, 2017. Fire Emblem Heroes launched this week and has been estimated to have raked in a cool $2.9 million on its first day out in the wild. For comparison, Super Mario Run was somewhere around $8.4 million on day one. With numbers like these, and considering just how little development time is needed for a mobile game when compared to a traditional first-party title like Legend of Zelda, it's reasonably safe to say that while the revenues may not quite compare, the profit margins are off the charts for Nintendo mobile titles. They could do Duck Hunt Mobile next, and give gamers a microtransaction that lets you shoot the smug prick of a dog. I'd pay for that. Blizzard is bringing Lucio, also known as weaponized electronica, from the Overwatch universe into Heroes of the Storm. I continue to be impressed by how Blizzard is able to manage to translate game mechanics from their other games into something that makes sense in Heroes. Things like Lucio's wall run would have made me assume this kind of thing would never happen. It goes to show that a creative game designer can do anything. Now, if only they could just make Heroes of the Storm fun, that'd be great. Square Enix has pulled back on the Final Fantasy Anniversary Event announcement of the Magitech Exosuit as an upcoming free update to Final Fantasy XV. These suits would give a half-hour invincibility and fishing bonus for reasons that can probably be boiled down to just Japan being Japan. The problem was that they looked suspiciously similar to the Power Rangers suits. However, like many things, tracing origins of inspiration back to the beginning is a bit tricky, but it's obvious that the moment you start, you'll find that the Power Ranger stylings are by no means original in the slightest. That said, Square Enix elected to delay the suit's appearance in-game and redesign them, less for copyright reasons and more just to stop people from making the Noctis is a Power Ranger comparison. Nobody should be a Power Ranger unintentionally. Or intentionally. Electronic Arts and ESPN announced that the FIFA 17 Ultimate Team Championship will be covered for the most part on the usual sub-ESPN channels, but with a notable exception on the main ESPN channel itself during the Super Bowl on February 5th. The president of ESPN Programming and Acquisition, John Lasker, said, quote, "We're trying to line ourselves up so that we're covering the event when the event's happening. The idea that we're putting it up against the Super Bowl really has nothing to do with the Super Bowl itself." End quote. Yes, clearly, esports broadcast on ESPN1 during the Super Bowl couldn't have anything to do with the vast majority of people who would be pissed off that video games are on their sports channel are conveniently watching elsewhere during that time. And hell, if Electronic Arts could fix the physics issues in FIFA, viewers probably wouldn't notice the difference anyways. Valve is being investigated by the European Commission to assess, quote, if certain online sales practices prevent, in breach of EU antitrust rules, consumers from enjoying cross-border choice and being able to buy consumer electronics, video games, and hotel accommodations at competitive prices, end quote. It's 3 investigations, so yeah, the hotel bit isn't directed at Valve. Effectively, what is happening is that because of the European Union's rules on ensuring parity in customer experience between its member states, any form of region locking, geo-blocking, or price differentials are illegal. A game bought in Germany must be the same price as the same product in Poland, and if you buy a game in one location, it needs to work in the other location. I've got to be honest, I find it very interesting that Valve is getting caught up in some very basic lawsuits and investigations lately. First, Australian consumer law, then gambling, and now the basic concept that if you want to sell to the EU, you need to keep things the same anywhere in the EU. Either their lawyers are brilliant or incompetent, but given that Valve admitted they didn't seek legal advice before launching in Australia, it kind of implies the latter. Nvidia is changing how promotional game codes work when you get a free title with purchase of an Nvidia graphics card, much to the chagrin of G2A and other resellers. The new system requires the code to be redeemed within the GeForce Experience app, where the app will verify the system has a qualifying GPU before sending authentication directly to storefronts like Steam or Uplay. The unfortunate part of this is that while I'm sure publishers aren't happy that end users resell these keys, many users, myself included, will often choose to purchase a GeForce card at a certain time because we can use the extra key to offset the cost of the graphics card purchase. While I'm not surprised by the move, I think it's a bit shady. If I have a copy of a game, I should be free to do with it as I see fit. But when has the interest of the end consumer ever been a priority? Sony has confirmed that the recently noticed $20 price drop on the PS4 exclusive The Last Guardian is indeed a permanent price drop. You can find the new lowered price tag on the PlayStation Store, as well as other stores like Amazon and GameStop. The title has only been out for a grand total of about 8 weeks, so a price drop this soon is a pretty solid indication of lackluster sales. This is an excellent showcase of what happens as a result of hype exhaustion. The Last Guardian has been coming soon for so long that when it finally did arrive, despite critical acclaim, gamers were colder towards it, at least pre-purchase, which it turns out is really all that matters. The bird, dog, snake, cat, pet simulator may be worth picking up now for those who were waiting. Zenimax has won its lawsuit against Oculus relating to the alleged stolen code and NDA breaches involving former employee John Tarmack and interactions with Palmer Luckey and Oculus itself. The lawsuit win comes at the tune of $500 million, primarily related to the NDA breach, with $300 million from Oculus itself and $200 million from Palmer and the former Oculus CEO. Zenimax is now determining whether or not they wish to seek an injunction against Oculus to temporarily stop the sale of Rift headsets, which would be a massive setback to Facebook. Facebook paid $2 billion in the Oculus buyout, with another $1 billion estimated to retain key talent. So another $300 million coming out of their pocketbook may seem like a small amount, but it's most certainly putting a dent in any earnings that Facebook has made from the VR hardware manufacturer to date. Amazon has filed a patent for a series of user interface designs that include a plethora of features like spectator mode, joining live game sessions, and starting new game sessions. But the most interesting piece of the patent filing is that the user interface can be used to, quote, order, purchase, or otherwise obtain demo or full versions of games, end quote. It looks like Amazon has no intention of just stopping with Twitch for gaming. While I don't think this move surprises many people, it is an interesting continuation of what Amazon has been doing for a while. Twitch Prime enabled in-game goodies, but is locked within an Amazon client, and it looks like we're going to get a more feature-heavy platform from them. It will be interesting to see where all of this goes. Of the companies in the market, only EA has been able to really take a chunk out of the Steam market penetration. Well, if you don't count Battle.net. And Amazon has one other thing that Steam doesn't have, which could be a big deal to gamers: customer support. And last, I was the recipient of a very odd phone call this morning, followed by an email of suspicious timing as well from someone else. The call was from an unknown number asking for me by name and identifying themselves as Alex from Denuvo, and telling me to suck their dicks, which you can imagine put me into "there's a story here" mode in a real hurry. Turns out that Denuvo, the company responsible for the safety and security of numerous video games, forgot to set the right access permissions to folders on their website, which includes the logs relating to their contact form for emails. I had sent a message regarding the rumor of Denuvo giving refunds if a game is cracked and asking for comment from the company, which was met with silence, of course. So for the first time, I'm actually a victim of a data breach, and it comes at the hands of a data security company. The irony is delicious. Also in the leaks are emails from numerous developers reaching out to Denuvo for pricing and spec details. Other emails that you can read, just Google denuvoajax.log, include 343 Industries, responsible for Halo Wars, Rockstar, Tailworlds Entertainment, the devs of Mountain Blade 2, and inquiries from Codemasters, Atari, Ninja Theory, Capcom, and 505 Games. And of course, a plethora of death threats and other nasty messages from gamers are in the logs as well. So there you have it, folks. The developers of the industry-shaking DRM can't even secure their own website well enough to stop a massive leak of inquiry emails. Absolutely, undeniably, amusingly on point. This has been your Game Industry News Wrap-Up for the week of February 4th, 2017. If you feel like chatting me up in the comments, that's great, but the best way is to click the link in the description to come by my Discord chat channel, where I frequently banter back and forth with people. My name is Tarmack. Thanks for watching.